Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Talk. The time is now for our Tuesday Talk wealth management conversation tonight. And so we're so happy to pull up and begin diving into some great conversation. Say hello to everyone, Tony.
Hello, everyone. Excited about tonight and what we're going to present to you. And I'm sure that it's going to be a blessing for your life.
So we're going to give, as custom, everybody a couple of minutes to kind of just log on. But we're so excited to bring this material to our Facebook friends, to some of our followers and their friends and family. And so we only have one request tonight, and that is that you share. If you
Yeah.
could just hit the share button right below. We're making this available to as many people as possible. We want as many people in the African American community to have access to this quality information that we're going to share tonight on our Tuesday talk. I think it's very imperative that it's just a season for everyone to be equipped with some financial knowledge. And so tonight is what we're going to present. We're going to arm our community and empower our community with as much financial knowledge as possible. And let me say this, if we say something you like, put something in the chat. We want to hear from you. We want this to be a roundtable discussion, not a monologue. The only way we know that we're reaching you and you're getting better is if you are commenting and asking questions.
Hey,
And so,
beautiful. Hey,
yes.
listen, when we first started, we were a little frozen. So can you say hi to the people again? Our screens froze a little bit.
Oh, they did? Oh, okay. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday Talk. That's how we do it when we're doing things live and using technology. We don't mind rewinding a little bit to say hello. Tony, tell everybody hello again.
Hi, everyone. So excited about helping everyone tonight. So looking forward to just a lively time with you tonight.
So as I was sharing, I'm not sure how much everyone heard, but we only have one request tonight, and that is that you share. Go ahead and share this live stream with as many people as possible. Hello, Mr. Woods. God bless you so much for joining us tonight.
That's
Hello,
Pastor
Sherelle.
Ronald. Pastor
Oh,
Ronald,
Pastor
that's my
Ronald.
big brother right there. That's who I'm
Okay.
always telling you about.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. We are just making sure that tonight that we share this information with as many people as possible.
Yes.
We want to arm the community with as much knowledge as possible. I said earlier that this talk can only be as successful as the people that are watching and engaging in it. So if we're
Absolutely.
saying something that you like, or if there's a question that you have, we want you to drop it in the chat. We want to make sure that all the things that we provide you tonight is helping you and reaching you right where you are and helping you propel you to your next level and your goals. Anything you want to share, Tony?
Well, I think first of all, let me always be be sure to say thank you for just the role you play in helping our community, and you do it with such zest and excitement, and you're fine. So it all of that just comes together. So when I was growing up, there used to be a commercial on television about selling cars, and the guy used to say, "Don't drive no ugly truck." So I thank God that I don't drive an ugly truck. I got a beautiful woman who loves God and loves her community. So this is an exciting time because both of us are equally passionate about sharing what it takes just to have peace, joy, and happiness in your finances. So it excites me every time, and I'm just looking forward to being a blessing.
Well, we're not going to hold people. I always like to give people time. A couple of minutes to log on to make sure. And so I'm making sure that I can see people on my page as well, and that I'm sharing it with as many people as possible, because last time we overlooked people and they were making comments and I didn't realize it. And so I don't want to leave anyone out tonight, and making sure that that we're now sharing. So we're live. We're up to about 8 or 9 people. So let's just go ahead and jump in so we can bring up our special guest.
Yes.
We have some great tonight. We're talking. I told somebody else earlier that my hand was itching, and so when people say their hand is itching, what does that normally mean, Cash?
That normally means some money is coming, baby. Money, money, money.
That means that money is coming. Hello, Courtney Robinson. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. That means money is coming. And so a lot of times in the African American community, when increase comes into our household, or we come into some money, what do we do with it?
We spend it or we charge it away.
We spend it or we charge it away. So we go out and get some new cars. We go out and purchase new homes. We go out and purchase some brand new shoes, new wardrobe. We go out and get some new hair.
Isn't that what the tax return is for you to get so that you get a new car?
Well, I think, that's how we've been using it to stimulate the economy. Here's the thing. African Americans is no secret. We're known to be the top consumers. Okay. And so tonight we just want to shed some light on what you should do when increase come in your household. And it's something else other than spend it.
Absolutely.
As fast as it comes in, sometimes as fast as it go out. Good afternoon, Vanessa. Thank you so much for joining us. So drop some comments in the chat.
Out there.
What do you generally do when increase comes in your household? Tony, I think you have some things that you want to share about the financial freedom way. So I'm going to go ahead and throw the mic over to you.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you, my beautiful queen. Because we're going to have a short, brief conversation tonight, I'm going to lean towards the mindset of the financially free. And then when we bring our guests on, they're going to talk to you a little bit about how I read to you from the book, I Know Why You're Broke, Do You, aligns to this whole idea of when we get increase, what do we do with it? When God blesses us with a raise, when God gives us a few extra coins that we didn't expect, is that time that we say, hey, the restaurant or the shop center, make way, because here I come. It takes a different mindset. And so as I read this, I want you to understand something about what I believe my role is in this whole idea of financial wellness. I believe that my role is to give the psychological assistance that people of color need to be better in their finances. Not charts and graphs, but I deal with the mind, stressing how to change the way we think. So I want to read a passage from my book, I Know Why You're Broke, Do You, to really stimulate your mind what it takes to have the mindset that when increase comes into your home, making sure there's a return on that increase. Over in chapter 2 of the book, I Know Why You're Broke, Do You, it start with the mindset of the financial free. And one of the things I say in the book is, I know that we are born to be financially free, but the next question is always this: how do we achieve that freedom? And I believe it starts with the proper mindset. And so I talk about how my favorite basketball player of all time was Michael Jordan. I love the way he soared through the air, and I love the way he's always on the winning side of the mark. How he went through and he was a winner, and how he came to the NBA also. Michael became what we call the greatest player of all time, not by happenstance. There was a mindset he had to have in order to achieve that goal. and some of the obstacles that he went through that causes me to admire him is he was cut from his high school basketball team being too short and simply not measuring up to the expectation. And even after becoming best basketball of all time, he had determination because he had to fight against those pesky Detroit Pistons on his way to the chip. Even when he was young playing ball, his brother used to beat him in basketball. And so financial freedom takes the Michael Jordan mindset to achieve it. I'm saying that. One of the things that Michael understood is that in order to be a champion, there were things he had to change. And I'll end it with this. He began to train harder. He got the right people on his team. And in 1991, the Bulls finally broke through and they were crowned champions. How did he do it? First, he never took his eyes off of it. Secondly, he realized that he needed more tools to achieve it. And thirdly, he added the right players. It's very difficult to reach your peak financial success without the right people or person on your team. You have to find someone that you trust to give you great financial advice and lead you to your winning financial goal. And so as we talk about what do I do when increase comes into my home, it's all about the mindset change. It's all about how do I think differently? And that's what I believe that we're here to help you tonight, to help you think differently about what God bless you with.
Well, thank you so much for sharing that, Tony. I can't wait to hear what Chris and Carolyn has to say about your steps and the things that you shared as well, and their insight to what they believe the African American community can benefit. So let's bring up Chris and Carolyn so they can introduce themselves. Hello, Chris. Let's see. Hello, Chris.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing good. For some reason, we can't see you.
Let me turn my camera off and turn it back on. Let's see. How about now? Any luck?
No. Hold on. Let me. Let's try to add you back.
Now, for everybody who is watching, Chris is not that bad looking at the camera. Doesn't want to share. I mean, he's not as good looking as I am, but he's not that bad looking. Okay, there you go.
Chris.
There we go.
I was wondering. So, hello, Chris and Carolyn. These are our financial expert friends for tonight. We're going to let them introduce themselves, starting with Carolyn.
Well, good evening, everyone, and thank you, Pastors Cash, for having me on here and inviting me. I am Carolyn Frazier. I am a licensed financial advisor with Edward Jones Investments, and I have an office in McDonough, Georgia. I have been doing this for a little over 8 years, I think, and I have a passion for education, educating us.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Welcome, Carolyn. All right. What about you, Chris? Share with a little bit about yourself.
Okay, so I'll say thank you as well for having me this evening. My name is Chris Work. I'm a financial representative and agency owner with Country Financial. I work with individuals to help them build their assets, but then also to make sure that their assets are protected for the long term. And I also enjoy educating people to make sure that they are financially knowledgeable.
Well, we know that you both are very armed with knowledge, and you're not, and you're very much aware of how the African American community can benefit from both of your services, what would be your advice to individuals that receive some type of increase in their household?
You want
Let's
to go
start with
first?
Carol.
I'll go first. I say save it. First and
Yes.
foremost, I would say save it. We don't do, I don't want to say we. It is important that you have an emergency fund. An emergency fund is, in my world, it's a bare minimum of 3 months of living expenses. However much it takes you to run your home or run your household for 3 months at a bare minimum, that needs to be in savings, in cash, not invested, just in the bank, not making anything. Because I hear that a lot. People say, oh, it's in the bank, it's not making anything. The point of an emergency fund is for it to sit
Yes.
in cash and not make anything. Because if an emergency arises, if you don't have an emergency fund, then you're using credit to
Yep.
handle emergency, or you're knocking on your mama's door or your cousin's door or your brother's door to borrow money. And so neither one of
Absolutely.
those is desirable. So
On my
I
door,
would say,
and my door is locked.
so I would say, I mean, everybody's got different situations, but if I was to say make one blanket statement, I would say to save it if you don't already have adequate emergency funding.
And Carolyn, would you share with our listeners or our viewers how even to sit down with professionals like yourself, the first thing you all are concerned with is, are they able to take care of their family if the funds they're talking to you all about aren't available? Will you share a little bit with them about that? Because a lot of times people want to take their last and invest in you all. Try to help them understand that there's a certain level you want to be at before you all will even sit down and talk to them.
So it's not that we won't sit down and talk. We can have a conversation, and I'm all about having a conversation, but it is not in anybody's best interest to take, I have people call
Right.
me up and say, I have an extra 10,000, I have $10,000, I want to invest it. I start asking questions immediately. First of all, what's your goal for the money? Everything that I do is based on goals. What's your goal for the money? Right. But also, what is your situation? What do you have going on? Do you have an emergency fund? If folks come to me and want to invest money and don't have emergency funds, I won't take it.
That's what I was
I'm not
talking about. That
No,
right there.
sir, I
Yeah.
will. No, it's not in their best interest, because I have learned that if they don't have adequate emergency savings and something happens, money that they've taken and investing, they have to pull out to handle this emergency. And that is counterproductive to the whole point of investing.
Yes. Yes. Thank you.
How much exactly a startup, like, okay, how much would you suggest that someone has saved? Like, is there a certain dollar amount that you would like for them to have saved in order before they kind of sit down and to say, okay, I got this saved in a banking account. Now I would like to invest and do something with this. How does that conversation start?
For me again?
Yes.
Okay. So like I said, at a minimum, I want 3 months. If you tell me Carolyn, it costs me $4,000 a month to pay my mortgage or rent, to pay my car note, to eat, $4,000 a month. So you have to have at a minimum 3 months. 6 months is ideal. If you're a working person, you have steady income, a regular paycheck. 6 months that's good. That's ideal. And there are some people who have too much cash. And so once you get to 12 months of having cash sitting in the bank, at that point, you don't need any more. But for me, personally, it's a minimum of 3 months. 6 months is ideal. And then I'm also asking, not just about that, what does your debt look like? What kind of debt
Yes.
do you have? Because if you got 15 department store credit cards, we need to talk about that. I hear that a lot. I owe Macy's $2,000. I owe JCPenney $600. I owe Kohl's $1,450. I owe, no, we need to address that as well.
I'd like to ask. Go ahead. I'm sorry, beautiful. Go ahead.
I want to know, did anything she said resonate with you all out there? You with the file cabinet cards in your purse Did any of that resonate with you when it comes to saving? She said, condense credit cards, pay down some debt. Then let's start looking at investment. Raise your hand. It's all right. I told you I had to repent from the credit cards. I had to repent and get rid of some. Right. Right. All right. Well,
Yeah,
Chris, go ahead,
I'm
Tony.
sorry.
No, go ahead.
Baby,
You got it.
I know. I just wanted to ask Chris something in regards to that piggyback off of what Carolyn said. This whole mindset of financial freedom and how, Chris, can you talk to us on how, when we get out of that debt that Carolyn talked about, and how life insurance and what you do can also open up that same opportunity for financial freedom, and how in the African American community, there needs to be a shift in mindset of what's important and what's not in regards to insurance, and how it can help build wealth?
Absolutely. So when it comes to life insurance specifically, a lot of times, especially in the African American community, we look at life insurance as one of those luxury items, right? So if you can get it, great. If you can't, or if things go bad or whatever, it's something that you can do away with. And really, life insurance and your other forms of insurance really should be looked at as the foundation of your portfolio.
Wow.
You can essentially build a portfolio that keeps you at a certain level if you appropriately insure yourself. And what I mean by that is, let's say if you've got a medical incident, if you don't have the proper health insurance, and you got to go to the hospital because you've got something major that occurs, that can put you at a very bad situation financially. And so all the money that you've amassed, all of this wonderful savings that you've created is now not protected because of the fact that you've had this, unforeseen circumstance. And that can happen if you've got a major medical instance. That could be happen if you become disabled. And going back to life insurance, if you have, the breadwinner, or even, the person that's not the breadwinner in the home, if they pass, that can have a tremendous lasting impact on what your portfolio can do. So making sure that you've got adequate coverage in your portfolio is important. One, again, to create that foundation, but also to make sure that you maintain stability long term in your portfolio.
Hey, Chris, before you go on, you said something, and I want you to just give us a little bit more of this, which is, it
Sure.
sounded like you said that our mindset shift has to be not thinking of insurance in the terms of if someone dies, but insurance in the term of helping us live better. Can you am I somewhere in the ballpark when I say that?
Absolutely. So, again, kind of looking at it from the standpoint of building a financial portfolio, right? A lot of times we think of it as, okay, I'm buying a house. The mortgage company says I have to have insurance. And maybe that's a little bit more acceptable because you realize that there's a large amount of money that you're putting away or that you're investing in this home. With the car, you're like, okay, I know I have to have insurance. Georgia tells me that I've got to have a minimum amount of insurance in order to drive on the road. But accidents happen every day, right? And so having insurance isn't enough. You want to make sure that you have enough protection to shield yourself in the event that you cause major injury to somebody. And so, you want to make sure that, again, that mindset shift is the insurance that I have protecting me for what I want it to protect me, right? And that's ultimately making sure that the things that you work hard for, your 401k, your bank accounts, your investment accounts, all of those things that you work very diligently for are protected. And normally that's going to be through liability insurance, but different pockets of insurance will protect different portions of your portfolio. Okay.
That's good. I think one of the things that we see in our African American community is not preparing for are not doing any estate planning. Let me just say that estate planning, as
Sure.
well as, when it's time to funeralize our loved ones.
Right.
It seems like we haven't been proactive in doing that. And I like how you laid out the different financial gains about how, looking at insurance. Talk to the people about preparing in the urgency to make sure that they always have that existence in their life, and then how they can connect with you if they're interested in knowing more about life insurance.
Sure. Okay. So I think Carolyn made a great point about making sure that you've got an adequate emergency fund, because in the event of an emergency, again, you want to have that foundation built from the insurance side, but having the foundation built from your emergency savings side, make sure that you don't have to downgrade your level of, the way that you live based on losing a job, or, again, a disability, or for whatever reason, some kink in your income occurs. Having that in place, then you can make sure that the insurance that you purchase is going to be something that you can maintain. And then the next thing is, when you go through and you actually sit down with an advisor to work with them, especially for the life insurance component, you want to make sure that you're planning for the long term and planning for something that is going to be comfortable, something that you can maintain. Go for this necessarily the highest thing that you can get on your budget, because the numbers might look good on paper, but I always tell people the worst thing that you can do is set up, whether it's a permanent life insurance plan or term life insurance or whatever life insurance policy you decide you want to get. The worst thing that you can do is decide that you're going to get this policy, pay out all this money, and then 6 months, a year, 2 years down the line, you can't afford it and you got to let it go, and all of that money goes away. So you want to make sure that you plan appropriately for a plan that is comfortable. And then you also want to work with somebody that's not going to try to twist your arm into getting something that that they know that you're not going to be able to maintain, because again, it doesn't do anybody any good, especially your family, if you're trying to set up this great plan for them, but you can't maintain it.
Hey, Eleshia, can I ask each of them one question before we leave tonight? I know you've been, do you mind if I ask them, baby?
Yes, go right ahead.
I want to ask both of you, why is what you do for a living so vital to the wealth and welfare of people of color? And either one of you can go, but why is it exactly what you do for a living so vital to the wealth and welfare of people of color?
Can I start? Because I want to snatch something that Chris just said.
Sure.
And I lost my audio for a few minutes, so I apologize. But Chris mentioned term versus permanent insurance. And there is a misconception out there that term insurance does not have a place, and that folks don't need term life insurance because of what it is and how it's set up. That is not true. There are a lot of uninsured folks out here where term is appropriate. Term is not appropriate for everyone. And I got a story, but I'm not going to get into it. But there is a place for term life insurance. It's better to have term than none. So
absolutely. So
there's a misconception in our community that folks don't want to talk about term. We need to talk about term life insurance. And so, Pastor Tony, you asked the question. I think for me personally, this career that I'm in right now is not something that I woke up one day and said, hey, I'm gonna be a financial advisor. This was something that I actually avoided for a while and had to pray about changing careers hard, because it was not easy for me to do it. And so I believe I'm here for a reason. I'm not just here, like I said, I didn't wake up saying I'm gonna be a financial advisor one day. I believe that this is a ministry for me, and part of that is imparting. I want to share information because I don't look like most of my peers.
No,
right?
You don't.
I'm a Black woman. And most of my peers are middle-aged white men, and they are not having conversations with folk that look like us. And I talk different than the rest.
And I work with them every day, Carolyn, and you don't see any of us. They're not calling us, soliciting us. They're not trying to help us. And I'm not just being mean-spirited. that we're just not at the top of their mind.
Right, right. We have not historically been the population of folks who have money to invest. And we need to change the narrative. And so it's important for me because regardless of how much money someone has, um, I will not work with someone because they don't have a lot of money. I will not work with someone who does not have the right mindset and are not serious because I don't have time to waste. I'm a busy
Yes.
girl. Like I
Yes.
got a career, I have a wonderful husband, I have kids, I have a home, I have elderly parents, I got stuff to do. And so what I don't have is time to waste. And so if folks are not serious, we'll have a conversation, and it doesn't take me long at this point to determine who's serious and who's not. But I am always, regardless of where people are, let's have a conversation. I'll tell you, you're not ready. But if you're ready, this is what you need to do. You need to get your emergency fund, right? You need to take care of this in terms of debt. Because I ask a whole lot of questions in our conversation. And I feel like I'm doing that because, when we know better, we do better. And a lot of folks don't know. And every time I have a conversation with someone, whether it turns into a client relationship or not, they always say, thank you so much. Thank you for taking the time to explain this to me because I didn't know. And so I just I want folks to have a basic understanding of what needs to happen because we are not creating wealth the same way that others are. And it's time out for that. We need to get busy.
Amen.
Wow.
And Chris, same question for you real quickly. Thank you, Carolyn. That was an excellent answer. What is it? What is it about what you do for a living as someone who protects us in death and life? What is it about what you do that's so vital for the African American community's wealth and health?
I think that my thing is really more so being able to come alongside the individuals that I have the opportunity to speak to and really hold their hand. There's a lot of times I think that, especially in our community, that we want things the here and now, right? So when you're looking at your life insurance, I want a permanent life insurance policy, but I want cash tomorrow. Or I want an investment account or whatever, but it's got to grow, double, triple, quadruple or whatever this month. And so what I want to do is
drop her head because she and I know about that. They give me $500.
But I don't want to lose.
They give me $500.
But Chris, I don't want to lose no money.
They want 1,000 in 2 days. I said, no, it doesn't.
But I don't want to lose none.
Yeah. And so, ultimately it's really about, kind of teaching people the realities of how their finances work, the decisions that they make, and the moves that they need to make in order to maintain that level. Because I think that, a lot of times we get to this point to where we're okay, I want to build wealth and I want to, be a millionaire or amass this massive portfolio, but don't necessarily want to go through all of the trenches that it takes to get to that point. And so my job, I feel like, is kind of working with individuals to say, okay, hey, if you want to go from here to here, these are the things that you need to do. And even once you reach that goal, there are still things that you have to maintain. And so we want to make sure that the steps that you're taking are, again, steps that you are comfortable with, steps that you are going to be able to, keep stable. And, as you build your wealth, as you build your assets over time, it doesn't get to the point to where you need less insurance or where you need to, you have fewer responsibilities. Now you have to step your game up and you got to make sure that you're keeping up overall with everything that you need to do in order to really be able to maintain and enjoy the wealth that you've amassed once you've actually grown it. So my job is really, like I said, to kind of hold the hands of the clients, the prospects that I work with, to be a resource. And, even for those individuals that don't become clients, again, kind of dispel some of the things that they might think are feasible, but put that reality in place to say, this is how you're going to get from A to B. And then once you get from A to B or whatever, okay, this is the level that you need to maintain to get from B to C so that we can grow together over the long term.
That's good. I liked to have these round discussions because it's like we need to talk this language enough in our community. You know, we don't hear it enough. We hear a lot of things that causes money to go out, but we don't hear the language enough that causes money to come in, that allows us to build wealth. And so that's one of the reasons why I like what Tony, I like what you do when it comes to culturally immune and your financial talks, because one thing about it, you know, which the same thing with training, you have to do it over and over again in order for somebody to master it. And I think that's where we are with our culture, that we have to continue to have these conversations that allow them to ask questions, allow us to meet them where they are so they can really get better, because they have to hear it over and over again. When increase come into your household, one of the top habits that you probably need to do is go find your financial advisor, sit down with them and talk about what you can do with your finances. Go find you a life insurance advisor to find out if you need to add more into your policy or increase your policy, because that is how we're going to grow and build wealth. A lot of times people think just because you did it that one time, that initial conversation, that's enough. But planning is about coming back to those goals, to that portfolio, and looking how you can expand and make it larger. Well, this has been some great conversation. Carolyn had to run off tonight, but we appreciate her so much for joining us. I'm going to drop her information in the chat. We wanted to hear from you guys, so we're going to stay around one more minute to make sure that you don't have any questions. And Chris, would you share how people can contact you if they have some insurance questions? Because we want to be a resource and a blessing to the community. How can they contact you and leave us with a lasting thought?
All right. So they can contact me by visiting www.christopherseabrook.com, and Seabrook is on the screen here. They can email me at christopher.seabrook@countryfinancial.com. Or you can call the office at 770-392-0724. Again, 770-392-0724. And then a lasting thought, I guess, would be, I want to kind of echo a sentiment that you shared. As you're going through again and building up your portfolio, don't get complacent in what you've accomplished. You want to make sure that you are going back and reviewing your plan and make sure that so that you can make sure that you maintain that plan, and that as you need to make those steady but subtle increases, whether it's in protection or savings or even changing how your assets are allocated, you want to make sure that you have those conversations with an advisor so that you are making the right moves for the long-term success of your portfolio.
We can't hear you, Eleshia.
Oh.
I'm just talking. If you want to reach Tony Cash, you can reach him by going to tonycash.org and filling out a contact form. He's in a process of, we're starting as of September a support group surrounding finances called Culturally Immune. And so you see the logo right here in front of us. And so if you're serious and you're ready to grow in your finances and you want someone to coach you along the way and bring great resources to you, then I suggest you find the group. It's on Facebook. You type in Culturally Immune and click join, and that's how you can get this information on a regular basis, or subscribe to tonycash.org, and that information will be shared with you as well. Tony, is there anything you want to share lastly?
Yeah, I'll end it with some of the financial wisdom quotes I have in the book, I Know Why You're Broke, Do You? And then because I think it will really align with what Chris and Carolyn said, and also you and me. One of the quotes in here is, never let your outgo exceed your income. The first time you see you have to calculate, excuse me, the first time you see you have to calculate before you make a purchase, stop and calculate why you had to calculate. Let's see here. You weren't born poor. You were born with poor knowledge. Increase your knowledge, increase your wealth. Let's see. Anything that robs you of your wealth and financial peace shouldn't stay in your life, including relatives. Okay, that's in the book right there. You should just buy the book for that right there. And last, I'll say this last one. If you want to enjoy saving, think about all the positive things you'll be able to do with your money, all the people you'll be able to help and influence, and the influence you'll have in the world. Financial freedom isn't just about not owing anyone, but more about being able to help others.
And that's exactly what we're doing tonight. We're making sure that we did a series for 3 weeks about how we can help the African American community develop healthy habits surrounding finances. And we hope that this conversation was a blessing to you. If you found anything that was helpful, please let us know. We want to hear from you. And don't forget to share. That's the only thing we ask you to do, is to share the content so we can get this information out to as many people as possible so that we can grow in our finances and become financially free. God bless you. Thank you so much for spending time with us. Good night.